Hey folks, Cool18 here, and welcome to Let's Try 1849. 1849 is sort of a lightweight city builder kind of game. Not really in the vein of a SimCity, but more in the old school Caesar or Cleopatra games, which were some of my favorite city builders of all time. Man, I love those. Now this is still a little bit more lightweight than that, and it is also going to be available on tablet type of computers, although I have to say, so far, I have not felt that I was playing a port of a mobile game in any way whatsoever. The PC version seems to be quite nice. Now, this is a pre-release version, so not everything is in there yet. Clearly, you can see the scenario mode is in there. Also, this is a Let's Try. This is just a sort of a lightweight early impressions of the game, not a full review in any way whatsoever. Now, I don't know why, but I've always been very into sort of Western computer games. And I think a big part of the reason is, historically, villages and towns and cities sort of sprung up organically. You know, people sort of just lived in a place because, you know, they set up a farm there and then more people happened to come by and so on and so forth. And it turned out to be a good trading center and that sort of thing. But these like Western towns, especially during the gold rush, were very much like, listen, there's gold here. We are setting up a town. We are like making a plan. There's going to be a road here. We're setting up a main street with the saloons and all these things. It was very organized, very much like playing a computer game, which I thought was great. I will note that the game does have some pretty nice music, but I do have it turned off due to some YouTube copyright things. The music licensing, I can't just let you hear it on YouTube, but it is very nice. Not a whole lot of options, but that's okay. So there's a scenario mode coming soon, whatever that means, so I don't know what those are. But then there's also a story mode. Now, this apparently will have about 20 different campaign missions. I have completed 6 of them so far, and I was actually thinking about replaying a scenario just in the interest of speed. I think, yeah, this is one of the more recent ones. Now, as we go into this, you'll see that the map area we have to play with is not especially large. However, I will say that the map has gotten bigger with every mission so far, and I don't know what kind of sandbox mode they are planning, so I can't really comment on that. So right now, our current mission is to supply the demand. There was, you know, flavor text and all that, but who needs flavor text? Let's just build cities. Our goals for this scenario are to sell 200 cheese and 200 fish to Mariposa, to then sell 100 canned meat and 100 bottles of wine to Sonora, and then to have a population of 200 with at least 5 small mansions. So we're going to close out of this, and that's right, we do get a choice to start off with at the start of the scenario. We can start with just $2,000 flat cash if you want flexibility. The second option, I'd only start with $750, but I'd start with 2 free ranches, and the ranches do cost $1,000 to put down, and so I think this option is quite strong. And then finally, this option, we'd start with $1,000. We don't start with any buildings, but we get lumber every 30 days, and this is actually a pretty strong bonus. Over the course of the game, this will probably add up to a fair amount of cash, but I think I'm going to go ahead with the second option with the 2 free ranches. So we're going to pull that up. I'm going to go ahead and pause the game right away. We'll talk about the user interface. So again, I can zoom out a fair amount and scroll around a little bit more, but there's obviously not a ton of room to work with. And that's because this game here is not, it's not a pure city builder. It's more of like a puzzle solver, problem solver. Like, here's the challenge. Now go and defeat that. And again, I can't speak for later on in the campaign or any sort of sandbox mode that may be created. So in our town here, obviously, you know, sort of cartoony kind of graphics. I'll go ahead and unpause and we'll actually see some people come in. We start with a town depot, and here is where all goods get stored. Any goods that get produced get brought to the depot, and then people will then come and pick up goods from here to either feed themselves or potentially to pick up more goods to operate an industry, for example. And indeed, we did start off with 2 ranches. So the ranches produce meat, cheese, and hides every day. Each one requires up to 10 workers, so we don't currently have the population base to support that. We have 10 people in total. We'll get to that soon. There's also the ability to upgrade buildings here. And some of the upgrades are just a direct, you know, spend money to get an upgrade, but a lot of them are like this: use boards or lumber to give yourself a bonus, so you don't have to use money directly. I haven't actually experimented too much with the upgrade system. It seems to me like it's probably a little cheaper. Like these resources are quite pricey, but maybe not quite the same price as putting down a whole other building. Now, it's not doubling the production, right? Because we produce, I think this would be 6 meat per week, so that would be an extra 2 per week of everything, of course, but you know, that's 33% more, and then 15% faster production. The advantage is I don't believe that you would require any extra workers, which should also keep your cost per week down. Anyway, so a lot of little buildings will have that. Now, the big thing, and this is the bit that's like the Caesar/Cleopatra kind of mechanics, these houses will grow on their own. They actually started as small shacks, and I can put down some more housing lots here. Let's put down I don't know, we'll have 6 lots. I may not be able to quite support that for now. You know, we'll just do 4 lots. So you put them down. Putting down the lots are free. And then people will come in and set up a house there. They'll start off with a small shack. Assuming they can there's enough food kicking around, they will then upgrade to a large shack. A large shack will then need lumber to be satisfied. And if you can satisfy both the food and the lumber, the large shack will turn into a small house, like a proper house. I think that's the next step anyway. And then you'll go to townhouses, and then you'll go to mansions and such. And that's what you're doing. You're constantly trying to supply new types of resources to make people happy. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. So we can get our objectives once again. We can also get a quick little sort of budgetary screen with a financial advisor. We do collect rent from all houses, and we have to pay those wages for the business to operate, for example. So ideally you collect more rent than wages, but as you'll see, a lot of our income actually will come from trade. And then there's a population screen, which will give us a breakdown. We do need 20 workers right now, and we only have 10, so we clearly needed a few more people, but I'm sure that there will trickle in relatively soon. So down at the bottom left, we have, that's another shortcut to our depot storage. And then we have our trade interface, the purchase and sales ledger. So we can both purchase goods and sell goods to other towns, but you'll notice we can't do it quite yet because we don't have any trade routes. Now, our ranches do produce cheese, for example. So we might want to actually sell cheese to Mariposa. We'd get $7 per piece of cheese that we sell, which is actually pretty good at this stage in the game. So I think it might be a good idea to listen to the cows in the background and click Open Route to Mariposa. They will buy cheese and fish. They also sell us lumber, and we know we're going to need lumber at some point, so it seems like the obvious first choice to do that. So now at this point, we could make some sales. That's weird. Do I have to reopen it? I can buy lumber. Oh, I don't have any cheese or fish to sell. That's why. Derp derp. But I could buy lumber now. So we're going to let that tick by. Now, we started off with a bit of meat. We'll also get more from the ranch as well as the cheese and hides. This will get delivered to the depot. Oh, right here we can see a tent has been set up because there's not enough housing to occupy all my people. It's also complaining about very high unemployment, which is not entirely accurate. We have 1 unemployed person, which I'm not going to say is too dire. Now, you don't necessarily want to overdo the housing, I think, because, again, this is an early impression, because too many will lead to a lot of unemployment, which can lead to additional crime, which is certainly bad. Now, was I wrong, or can we sell fish? We can sell fish, not for very much, but it seems like it would be worthwhile setting up an additional business here. We can set up a fishing dock over by the water. Now, if I do that, we'll get a little icon letting us know that the cart can't reach here. Carts must travel on roads. So we're going to go ahead and drop down that road, and then we'll talk about all the little building options. So this is the just the options screen, including built-in debug options right now to mess around with the game, which is kind of fun. It's telling us we're running out of money. We're just going to put a quick little pause there and then look at it again. So in the first tab, we have various town-type buildings, including house lots, fire brigades, and sheriff to keep down crime and fire risk, very important. A county jail, which apparently increasingly reduces crime rate, which is good to know. And then we've got the saloon and the church. Now, as these buildings level up, not only do they want fancier resources, so they've got the food and lumber, they're going to want booze, they're going to want clothes, they're going to want furniture, they're going to want shoes, hides, probably some other stuff, but they'll also want access to a saloon and a church and also a school. So we're going to have to put those down later on, but we don't need those quite yet. The second tab is sort of town infrastructure. Now the roads are required to connect up the buildings, and I think everything else here is mostly just decorative. If you want to make things look a little bit more fancy, we can put down a I can't. Oh, you got to put it in empty space. Yeah, I'm not going to waste any room on that. I'm way too focused on sort of efficiency and pragmatism. Next up, I guess this is maybe the food production area. So we've got something like bakeries, which turn wheat into bread. And you've got the wheat farm down here, so people can't eat the wheat directly. You've got to put it through a bakery before you can have your people eat that. We've got fishing docks, which we just built one. We've got orchards that produce fruit, which we don't apparently eat. We just turn it into brandy. A vineyard, which will produce grapes that we put into the winemaker to make wine. The distillery will make whiskey from wheat or brandy from fruit. The ranch will produce the meat, cheese, and hides, which you saw, and a cannery. And with every scenario, more and more buildings have become available. Apparently, there are 50 different types of resources that you can interact with in this game, which is quite a deep pool of things. One thing in this particular scenario, you'll notice there's no, well, you may not have noticed, but there's no gold mining or iron mining or silver mining, which is definitely a thing. Normally, in this particular section, I've seen those mines being available, and they're quite lucrative, but not on this map. Instead, we've got the ability to get salt, which we'll use for making canned meat later on, but we don't need that quite yet. And then finally, more industrial buildings, sawmills where we make wooden boards from lumber. On this map, again, we can't produce lumber directly, but sometimes you can get a lumber camp, which will produce lumber directly, and then you can process it further. The stonemason, which makes bricks. The carpenter, which makes furniture from boards. So again, you start with lumber, then you make boards, then you make the furniture. Cobbler will make shoes from hides, and tailor will make fine clothing from fabric. And the fabric you can get from, you can make cotton farms, for example. So again, lots and lots of little variety here. So we are currently losing money, and we can see that, well, it's mostly for my expenses. Technically, we should be making about $5 a week right now from rent. So we're mostly okay, but we're not going to be terribly okay until we get a sale going on. Now let's check the depot. So we've got both the meat and cheese. Now these are both food. Your people will feed themselves using this. Now, the cheese we can sell to other towns for money. The meat we cannot. So this little green dot here is to indicate that right now your people are allowed to consume this stuff. We're going to turn it off for cheese so that our people will not eat the cheese. We will only sell cheese. So now I can sell cheese to Mariposa. I'll sell all 12 of it. I'll make $84 and sell that. That's not much, but the cheese production will ramp up pretty quickly, and we should start to make a pretty solid pile of cash relatively soon. We've got a fair number of unemployed people, so we're going to want to check up on that. But other than that, we're doing pretty okay. Sometimes there will be quests assigned to you that you can respond to for various other bonuses. Ooh, someone just robbed this ranch, which I assume means a loss of production. I don't actually know for sure. And this place doesn't have enough money to pay its workers. Part of the problem is that the wages and the rents are not on the same schedule, I think. So sometimes you can get a wage problem before you get the rent. And I have noticed that I think on every mission, you will get this one $500 boost if you run out of money. So I kind of intentionally run out of money once every time just to get the free $500. And then I start paying attention to my finances a little bit more. So we could increase our, the wages page is go. Oh, the wages paid before was low because we just didn't have enough money to do it. So that's no good. Rent collected is definitely not high enough. And I could add more population. And I think I will, just temporarily. We will get a bit more of a crime problem, but I think we need more rent. So we're going to just have to deal with it. We should have enough food between our fish and our meat to feed people. So I'm going to get a set of 10 houses here, and then I'm going to stop. If we want anything more, we'll just try to upgrade our houses going forward. So that will continue to have some unemployment, but let's see if we can't do some more trading. Indeed, we'll sell another set of cheese. Now, we don't have any fish to trade, and I'm worried that it's being mostly consumed. We've got enough cash right now. We're gonna go ahead and set up 2 more fishing docks, which we can fit there and there, and of course we'll have to extend our road as well. So let's go and do that, like so. And so now, we need extra work because we've got a lot of population. Now that will increase our rent considerably, so hopefully we'll continue to turn a safe profit from that. But we do have extra workspace over here, so hopefully people will start to produce more fish. There we go. And I'm going to turn off the consumption of fish as well. We might run out of food, though. We're going to have to babysit that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and sell the fish and cheese. In fact, what I'm considering doing is saving up to get a 3rd ranch, just so that we can really produce a ridiculous amount of cheese, because it is so financially viable. We do need to sell a lot of it to proceed on our quest here. Well, we don't have to do this in order. This is just sort of, this is the easiest to do. This will come first, naturally speaking. We can get some more information there. I didn't even realize that was a thing. And yeah, the crime problems. I guess we'll set up a sheriff's office, since we are financially okay. The sheriff's office has got a radius, so I'm going to set it here to cover the fish spots. But if I build outside of this radius, I will still have some crime problems there. So we'll have to perhaps build a second one, or just leave this place blank. I think we can beat this scenario pretty easily without filling in every square inch of our map here. So hopefully we'll keep the that down. We'll probably want the fire brigade relatively soon, just because fire bad, and your buildings do burn down very, very quickly. I'm going to drop a little road in here with the idea that I'm going to build a fire brigade right there, and I want people to be able to still get to their houses and not have things be too tight. Excellent. Now we're making a pretty good set of money per turn, And yeah, I think just saving up to 1,000 so we can get another ranch, and we'll be in really, really good shape. Food-wise, we've got enough meat still, so I think we're doing okay. And that is really the pace of the game. You can fast forward if you want, and I considered doing that for the video, but honestly, the game is just, it's very nicely paced, I have to say it where it is. There's enough of a challenge. It's definitely possible to get yourself backed into a corner where you will kind of go bankrupt. So you sometimes we'll have to restart a scenario, and that's, I'm saying that on even some of these earlier scenarios, and I think that's a good thing that it's not super easy. On the other hand, it's possible that some people who have not played these sort of economic simulations might get a little caught up on that. I suspect that the developers have the difficulty tuned too much to what works for them, which is not necessarily ideal, because especially if they're looking to release this on a tablet, I think it's not quite casual enough, which to some people might be an endorsement of the game. But there it is. Anyway, I've played this game. I've put in maybe a couple hours into this so far, and I really enjoyed myself when I was doing it. Again, I don't, this is not a review in any way, but I actually did like it, and I might go ahead and actually finish the campaign. It seems like a good game to play while you've got some TV on somewhere else, and so, you're just checking on your population, then you go and, watch a little bit more Cosmos, because that's what I was doing. But, yeah, which I really like, that sort of zen, casual kind of game, very fun. I think it'll do great on a tablet, actually. I'd be interested in seeing there. I think it's going to retail for $9.99, at least on the PC version, and I think that's swell. So this is 1849, the California Gold Rush game, and we could advance. I suppose I could play for a little bit longer, see what we can develop. What's the other thing we'll need to sell? Start selling wine. I think it's a little too early for that, though. I think the thing to do, even though it's a little bit dull here, is I'm just going to put down a third ranch. I'm sorry if that's boring, but I think it's going to be a huge moneymaker, so we're going to do that. Oh, I've actually gone into negative cash. Quick, make a sale. There we go. Whew, don't want to go bankrupt. I don't know if you lose from that. I haven't actually lost proper. I just sort of quit because I'm like, oh, this is not going to work out. So I'm a little curious to see what happens. I like the fact that you see people like carrying the goods around, and there's a wagon that comes into town whenever you make a sale to another town. We definitely want to set up the fire department soon. And we still have some unemployment financially. Yeah, we are paying more in wages too. So right now I got to be really on top of this trade. Sometimes I wish it might be a little faster, like if you could right click on the plus to instantly max out a trade would be nice, or maybe some type of automation. But you don't want to automate too much because where's the gameplay? So there you go, the cart coming to pick up all the cheese and fish I just sold off. And overall, this is a pretty strong start, assuming my town doesn't just burn down. So yeah, the next step would be to perhaps try to meet some of these requirements, because at this point, I probably would stop building any more houses, because as you upgrade your house, more and more people will be able to live there. They'll also pay more in rent. So, oh no, what was I just saying about a fire? I think that's probably going to burn down all my little houses here. Quick, let's make a sale. See if we can afford a fire brigade just to stop it from spreading anymore. Hey, we completed one of our quests, which is great, but my house is going to burn down, or my village is going to burn down. I'm going to put that there again. I should have maybe put this stuff more central so that I don't have to build a second one if I do want to build over here. Now, this little rubble pile I will have to trash to get rid of. The fire will keep burning for a little while, but I don't think it'll spread now that I built the fire department. Oh, I say that. Apparently, I'm lying. It is reducing fire hazard, but I guess it's not instantaneous. I have not seen any fires start within the radius of a fire department other than these spreading here. So I'm just going to wait for the fire to go away, and then hopefully we can rebuild our little plots. Come on, stop spreading. There we go. No more red at all. So hopefully that means no more fire spreading. There. Everything is fading away. New house lot. Build there. Come on. Oh, God, that fire is burning forever. What, was some, like, pouring coal into the ground? Can I, like, build on top of that? No. Nor should I be able to, but... Oh, I've never seen a fire burn this long. I hope nothing is glitched out. Again, this is, like, early access, early beta version of the game. I have never seen this, and I am once again out of money, so let's go ahead and do that right away. But we are turning a great profit now, and we should be... Yeah, we've got lots of meat. We should be able to feed a bigger population easily. There we go. That fire finally went away, so build there. So I guess, actually, if I want to do some upgrades, the next thing I would need is to bring some lumber into town. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So I'm going to have to open a trade route to San Francisco. No. Oh, Mariposa's got it already. Good. Let's buy 100 units of wood. This will actually go pretty fast. So we're going to do that, and then right away, because it should be in my depot right away, it is, and you can see the number went down to 80 instantly as people went and collect the goods. You're going to see them walk to the house, and they're sort of earmarking the goods. They're going to grab it, and then they're going to start upgrading their house. There we go. Oh, it's log cabins. They don't go to houses right away. They want booze now. And I think we could probably look into starting our wine production as soon as we've got a little bit more cash. How much does it cost to put down our orchard? 500. And you do want to have your food producing buildings down first because it does take them a little bit of time to ramp up. So we'll go ahead and do that. Get a bit of a supply of grapes, and I think it's, yeah, 750 for the winemaker, so we'll do that. Right now it's complaining about lack of labor, but it's got plenty of labor, it just hasn't kicked in yet. Good. In fact, I think we'll probably want to have 2 vineyards and then 2 distilleries working, or wine yards, not distilleries. Winemakers. Distilleries are for the wheat and for the fruit. But here we're just doing wine, which we need for the quest. And we'll probably mostly be selling it. How much? Oh, we're out of lumber. See, they already used all that up. Now, they went and they needed to collect a pile of it. And as long as they've got some in there, they will upgrade. But they will downgrade again if we run out for too long. So we're going to go ahead and do that just to keep it around and make sure we're okay. But it shouldn't drop quite as dramatically. Now that these houses are upgraded, our lumber should actually last a tiny bit longer. Okay. Make some more sales. See, and I'm impatient. I'm like, I check the trade screen like every 2 seconds like that. And I really shouldn't. You know, the longer you wait, the more you can sell in one batch, and less clicking you have to do, and babysitting, and all that. Okay, on fast forward, that should hopefully... Nope. Gotta get to 750. Gotta start making my wine. We've got a pile of grapes kicking in. Oh, no, I did put down the fruit orchard. Ooh, alright, so I'm not going to be selling wine right away. But that's okay, because my people actually just want booze, and I wasn't going to let them drink the wine anyway after the first little bit, so that's okay. The distillery is more expensive. I think because it's more flexible. Oh, well. Our wine will have to wait. There we go, lots of cash from this sale. Although, oh, we need 1,000 for this. So we'll have to wait just a bit longer. We'll get that plopped down, and then we'll probably call this video to an end. Again, it's a simple game, but I think it's spiffy. I'm enjoying it. All right, distillery, go, boom. You'll get your labor in a sec. We'll start consuming the fruit over there and turning it into brandy, which my people will then enjoy and drink, and we'll upgrade to I guess a large log cabin will be the next step up. So we'll do that, and we'll see what the next requirement will be, which might be hide. And if it is, that'll be good because we actually have tons of hide. Actually, if I want to make money, what I need to do is open my trade route to San Francisco and sell all this hide. But it will take 800 bucks to open that. So we need a tiny bit more than we've got now, but then we'll get a huge influx of cash. And again, the game is very nice with the background music as well. It's only because they have licensed some music for the background of their game, and that means that because of various YouTube copyright issues, I cannot just play the music directly without getting the video taken down. So, okay, good. We have 800 bucks. Let's open a trade route to San Fran and then sell all the things. I think 500 is the most we can do in one chunk. Get $2,000 there and get the next chunk of hide going as well. Boom. How are we doing on lumber? We're still okay, which is nice. Booze should start coming in. Oh, they actually need a saloon to upgrade. So, let's go and bring them a saloon as well. There we go. So they needed booze in their house, and that is not enough. They also want booze, a social place to drink as well. My town is full of alcoholics. But that is very Western, isn't it? You know? The other thing I like right now is all the people walking around are like farmers and miner, like gruff guys, dudes. But as your houses upgrade, you will start to see more like gentle folks, ladies going around in dresses, men in suits and top hats, as you build, you know, as you upgrade to townhouses and mansions and so on and so forth. So they, I think we just have to wait. They should trigger. Oh, there we go. They've upgraded to a large log cabin. Now they want boards. Now boards are notable in that I cannot purchase them, so I will have to get many pieces of lumber. It's too much. I've actually made myself be broke, but then we can turn around and sell some of our goods. There we go. That should be fine, because now I should be able to build a sawmill. There we are. I'm going to tuck that in over there as well. The buildings being closer to depot would actually be a little bit faster for the travel time, but these buildings tuck in nicely over there, so I like that. So anyway, all that lumber, which we still need, they still need a certain amount of lumber, but now we'll also be able to produce boards, which will allow some more people to upgrade relatively slowly, because we have to convert one from the other, but it should be okay. We are running out of booze. How are we doing on our fruit? We might be able to support a second distillery. And I'm actually not entirely sure if we can, but what we'll do is we'll plop one down, and then probably that will start to run out of fruit, but at that point we'll build a wheat farm. And then I think between the two of them, actually I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure if... No, I guess they don't split the production. I think they produce both at the same time. So we might end up with like 2 fruit orchards, 2 wheat farms, producing some whiskey, maybe put down 1 bakery. And then, of course, we do want to start our vineyards and our winemakers so that we can actually complete the quest. Also, we are producing a lot of meat. And right now we're mostly using it to feed our people. But we are running a surplus. Once we get the salt pan going and then a cannery going, we can start to sell the canned meat. But there we have it. Each scenario is a little bit different depending on what they've got. Let me actually quit out of here and back to the map and load up. Which one did I want? There we go. This would be an example of one of the ones with gold. And I think we've got a few options to start. Let's start with the gold mine. Oh, that's very interesting, actually, because there's not a gold deposit there as far as I know. So by choosing it this way, we actually get more gold than we would have. Oh, that's very cool. So here, so some of the buildings are the same, although there's no church, there's no school, there's no one other thing in this scenario. I can't remember what else is missing. You can see a hunting camp here, which produces meat and hides. It's very cheap. It's only $300, unlike the ranch, which was $1,000, but this doesn't produce cheese. It may also produce less stuff overall, but also require less workers. I'm not sure. And then we've got our panning stations here, which are very inexpensive. We can pan in the river there where there's a little bit of gold. And then we can also set up gold mines here, and there's also room for iron mines over on this spot here. There's a bit of an industry for turning... oh, we don't actually have the building for that, but you can turn iron into picks, which you actually need for your mines. The panning stations will work on their own just fine. We can also do some upgrades, of course. The mines consume picks, which in this scenario we are forced to buy. We cannot produce ourselves. We do start with a bunch of them, though, so that's okay. What else was there? The iron mine. The logging camp, so here we can produce our own lumber, for example, but interestingly enough, we cannot produce boards in this scenario. Oh, no, I'm wrong. We can produce the sawmill boards, but we can't do a few other things. This is an earlier scenario, so I'm not expecting you to upgrade to mansions in this one, for example. So it'll be really interesting to see what the later missions are like, but there you go. There is a quick look at 1849. It is currently available for pre-order. There'll be links down below at some indie sites and also the manufacturer's website. And it is on Steam Greenlight right now. It is not actually available on Steam quite yet, but they're going through the Greenlight process. So I'll put those links down below. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.